Well, it says I'm live, so got rid of my snack just then. Had to eat me an apple, which is good. That's good for me. Hope everybody's doing good this morning. Uh, I was, as you might have looked at my title, I just got through watching a podcast, Outdoors with the Morgans. Mike Morgan got on there, and he was talking about the national debt, and he was explaining how he wanted everybody to come together again, and how he was more right leaning than left leaning, and which hey Jamie, uh, which I think a lot of people in the United States are you know middle of the road, want to be happy, want to please both sides. That's sort of what I am. I mean, I'm uh, originally for years I was a Democrat. A couple years ago, I decided, I can't align myself with the Democrats anymore. I mean, they went away. I uh, went independent, so I'm the independent that everybody talks about. But I'm more right leaning than I am left leaning, especially in today's terms. I mean, good gracious, it's something. And yeah, I'm like Mike Morgan. Uh, I'm I put myself out here. Now, Mike Morgan's got a big channel, Outdoors with the Morgans. He's got a lot to risk. I got a small channel. Of course, I don't live off of my YouTube channel. I don't have a business going on. I don't care. What you get from me is true me. I don't try to uh, party of the unenrolled. Well, in North Carolina, it works really good because we can vote for whichever primary we want to. And for years, I mean, a lot of times I'd say, well, doggone, I don't want this crazy from this party going in. I'll vote against him. And I couldn't because I was, tied to one party. So now if I see in the primaries that I want to make sure and vote, you're going to excuse me here, make sure I vote against somebody, I can switch at any time by being an independent. I can vote in a Democratic primary. I can vote in a Republican primary, and then come general election, I vote how I want to. So it gives me flexibility, which I like. And so, yeah, I'm gonna keep myself aligned as an independent or uh, uh, I guess it's unencumbered. Somebody might say it's uninformed too, but it's not. I think a lot of people that are independent can vote the way they want to without being encumbered by a party one way or the other. Because right now we have a broken two party system, and I don't 100% agree with everything the Republicans say. I definitely don't agree with what most of the Democrats are saying now, and it's a broken system. But the only way I feel like we can uh, justify that is to be independent. The way our state's set up to vote for it. I mean, I don't think all states are that way. I don't think all states let you vote in the primaries one or the other. Uh, I don't know, but in North Carolina, that's the way we are. So that's the way I like it. I like the fact that I can be registered as an independent or unaffiliated, or however they want to say it, and I can vote whichever primary I want to vote for at the time, which I think gives me more options. Uh, and then that way I can, I'm not just voting against something. I can vote for something. And a lot of times you get into an election and you look like you're voting against something, and that's the way it is. But I thought it was impressive that Mike Morgan jumped in there in the political realm this morning, and and he was laying it out pretty good uh, about the national debt, and he was calculating it all out, and how so many people, just say, well, it's just a number. Well, no, it's more than just a number. It's actually it keeps our base of our money of what we have in order. And, we got a fragile system, a very fragile. Barbara and I, we like to watch a lot of history stuff. And we watched a history episode that came out on the History Channel. It's on YouTube now, and we watched it, and it was very interesting. It was about the Revolution, and you think back about the Revolution, how long it took. I mean, the average person probably looks at it and says 1776. That's when we had our independence. We started new. We're doing great and everything, but you go back and look at a story like that, and it took like 8 years, 7 or 8 years to get the war over with England after we declared our independence. We declared our independence on July 4th, 1776. Well, that doesn't mean everything's, you know, a bed of roses from that point. At that point, that's when the war started. That's when, I mean, we were really into it with England, and we were losing. We were losing right and left a lot of times. If it hadn't been for some very strategic moves and some willingness from the colonists to keep putting up with it, we would have lost. We would have still been a part of England right now. And, you know, instead of being a lesser power, now we're the most powerful nation. But we got to sustain that now. We have to continue on, or we're going to have these other nations, you know, jump in there and be the bigger nation than we are. I mean, it's amazing how far we have come in 300 years. I mean, it just, it's hard to imagine. And everybody ought to go back and really study their history. Like they say, you study your history so you don't repeat it. And that's exactly what we need to do, is study history so we don't repeat it. Who I don't know. I tell you, I thought it was very interesting. I thought Vivek was very good. I thought Vivek, he's a very smart young man. He's like a young John Kennedy, in my opinion. He can think on his feet. He's not going to get flustered like some people. I thought the worst one out there was Chris Christie. I think I'm just sick and tired of Chris Christie. He's never brought anything to the table that I thought was intelligent. And he definitely has never been somebody that looked trustworthy. I mean, I'd be afraid Chris Christie would flip on a dime on the American public. I mean, he's going to do whatever's good for Chris Christie. And he showed his colors too many times. So I definitely don't care for Chris Christie at all. But Vivek was very impressive. Ron stood his ground. And then you could tell that Mike Pence was fighting for every inch of his political life. Mike Pence is too old school. He's too set in his ways. And I think he brings the baggage that what we're wanting to get rid of. And that's what Vivek comes off. He comes off like a young Trump in some ways. He comes off not being the political bag with any kind of political baggage at all. And I think that's great. And I think the American public like that. I think they like the fact that he hadn't been a career politician, and he's shown that he's very smart. Anybody that at his age can start from nothing, and his family started from nothing. They came over here dirt poor from India. He was born in the U.S., which gives him the right to run for president. A lot of people ask that question. A lot of people say, "Well, he's from India. How can he run?" When he and Nikki Haley both, are Indian descent, and they both have the right because they both were born in the U.S. So that's the difference. And you know, I think that's the way it should be. I mean, we're all a nation of immigrants. Although I kid people and say, because I've got Native American in my blood. That we met people on the shore. I've got part Cherokee uh, in me, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of my heritage. Of course, I've got English and German and Scott Irish. I'm a mixture of everything that was bred into me from years past, and I think that's what's good about America. That so many of us are that way. We jump in here and we're a mixture of our ancestors and what they brought to the country, and that's what we're going to have to do. But yeah, I like what Mike Morgan did this morning. And like I said, he jumped in there and as big a channel as he's got, and he's got about 400,000 people. I mean, he let it know right quick. He said, I'm going to probably lose people by stating these facts. And he says, but I don't care. He said, I've got a platform and I'm going to speak it. And I'm glad that he is. I'm glad that more people like him are coming forward and saying, we've got to stop this idiocy in the United States, and we got to get back to normalcy. I mean, I think that's what most people want is to get back to normalcy. And he professed that, and I like that. I think Mike Morgan. I think Mike Morgan did a good thing by jumping in there and kind of stating his political stance this morning. And I mean, he wasn't trying to talk about all kind of crazy things, but he was letting people know that he's from Pennsylvania, and he was upset when basically the idiots of the situation put John Fetterman in there into the Senate. John Fetterman, a man who couldn't even speak a half of a sentence, and they elected him as senator of Pennsylvania, which is so idiotic. I mean, regardless of political alignment, I mean, just to say, sir, you're not qualified, you can't speak, at least have that common sense and say, we don't need you, we need somebody that can better represent our state. But no, the idiots in Pennsylvania just said, well, he's a Democrat, we're going to vote for him. We want a Democrat in, that's all we want. That is so stupid. That is so stupid. And you took somebody that was a heart surgeon who has bukus of degrees and education, very smart, had a TV show, everything. You say, oh no, we don't want him. He won't be good for Pennsylvania because he's got a brain. And then put somebody in there that's sort of like, which one was it on The Wizard of Oz, the Cowardly Lion? He needed a brain or needed a heart. No, which one? One of them needed a brain. I don't know. The Scarecrow, that's what it was. But I had to think a second. But that's the difference. I mean, you got somebody right now. We have two people running this country that have to be led around. Well, really three, if you count Nancy, not Nancy Pelosi, but she's almost there. But Dianne Feinstein, who has to be wheeled around, and somebody by proxy has to vote for her. They got power of attorney to vote for her, and she doesn't know where she's at. And they got her. Mitch McConnell's not much better off. I mean, Mitch McConnell, if anybody saw him a few months ago, I mean, he just went blank. He was out talking and had like a mini stroke or something, just went blank. I mean, we got people in their upper 80s that shouldn't be doing anything for the government, but that's what we've got right now. And they're trying to reelect a president that is going to be 82 years old once he gets elected. Now that's crazy. He's not doing good now at 80. He's not doing good at 80, and now they want to reelect him. I mean, it is such a farce. I mean, we're going to have young blood in there like Vivek or Ron DeSantis. Some of these people that have got good common sense that are young enough to make good decisions. when you go back and you look at the Declaration of Independence, the Constitution, and all that, everybody knows that Thomas Jefferson was a big part of all of that. You know how old Thomas Jefferson was when he wrote that? 22 years old. 22 years old. And he wasn't even under the current, or even as they drafted the Constitution, old enough to run for president or senator or congressman when they initially did that. He had to wait several years himself to be eligible to run for president. So, it's a crying shame that we don't let some smart young people get out there and say some things. And we're relying on people that's 80 and 90 years old to rule the country. I mean, it's something. Oh, man, excuse me, guys. Whew. I had to sneeze. I'm going to have to, hold on a second. I'm going to have to give me a Kleenex. I'll keep talking. You can hear me. I'm going to step over here and get a Kleenex. I'm out of the picture, but I'm still in earshot. And I had to blow my nose. Y'all didn't need to see that. Oh, man. But you heard it. Well, where's everybody at today, Jamie? I can't figure out where everybody's at. I mean, I got people in here, but nobody's chatting this morning. I need to find out what's on everybody else's mind, don't we, Jamie? I don't know where Joey is and Zach and a bunch of the other. Yeah, everybody's all ears. Yeah, they're waiting on me to say something, I guess. But, hey, Walter. Yeah, that's about right. Yeah, he could dress up as the mayhem guy, couldn't he? Because that's what he creates havoc and creates problems wherever he goes. That's for sure. That is for sure. It's something. Phew! I tell you what, it's hot up here in the building. I might have to open up my doors and turn on a fan because it is hot. It is hot, hot, hot. Jim has the big fan over here that he usually runs. It's noisy. I would have turned it on. But, well, FedEx is, I think they're doing okay for everybody. They're sort of at a lull right now, right before the storm. The storm's going to start hitting pretty good for FedEx right now between September and December. I mean, that's when peak season comes in. But peak season, I think, is going to be a little bit off this year. I got several people in business, and I've been going around meeting with some of the guys, and business is off right now. They keep saying the economy is great. The economy is great. It's not. The economy is not great. And don't be fooled by that. I mean, I think that's the worst thing that they're doing to us right now is the fact that, FedEx owns their airplanes. Yeah, FedEx owns a lot. FedEx has a larger fleet of airplanes than UPS does. When you go on and look at if you Transport Topic used to put it out. I don't carry Transport Topics anymore, but FedEx had probably twice as many, if not 3 times as many airplanes that UPS does. And so a lot of people think it's all UPS with the flights and everything, but FedEx has more than them. And it's going to be something. But the economy, like I said, I don't know how you're seeing it, Jamie, or Walter, some of these guys that are in here. The economy is not doing as good as people think. Uh, there's people getting laid off right now, and I think you're going to see that. There's people that, as far as sales and everything, I have a guy that's in a powder coat business, and he was talking about how he used to do a lot of powder coating for a company that built a lot of truck bodies. Well, they're not building as many truck bodies, so that business is off. I got another friend that's in the aluminum building business, and he was talking about that business is off. People aren't buying the buildings. There's a lot of different factors out there right now, and I've seen it in a lot of different small industries that are starting to feel the trickle of this bad economy. Now, like I said, if you were to listen to the Democrats that talk about this booming economy, it ain't booming. It's about to go bust, not booming. And with the high interest rates, I mean, look how many times the interest rates have been raised. Now, if you've got money in the bank, it's a good thing. If you don't have money in the bank and you're borrowing, it's a bad thing. Hey, Cornelius, how are you? Well, I try to, Cornelius, and it is what it is. I mean, I'm not trying to be political as far as Democrat, Republican. I'm trying to be an American. I want America back on its feet. I want to see America do good again. I want to see people come back together. I mean, we are so divisive right now between the two parties. Is pathetic, and I think that's a sad state of affairs. So I don't like that at all. And it is what it is. I mean, you've got people that are going to take sides, and they're going to root themselves in, and they're not going to budge an inch. And I don't think that's good. I think you need to be an open-minded person and listen to both sides. And both sides, I mean, one side is not 100% correct in anything, but not being able to come together with a mutual situation is terrible. And right now we have a very divisive Congress. I mean, it's pass a bill, it's 100% Democrats against this and 100% Republicans for it, or vice versa. It's neither. Very seldom do you see, well, the vote was majority this, majority that, and you'd have so many go from one party to the other party. I mean, it's like it's heads or tails. We're heads and tails. If tails we're right, heads you're right. I mean, that's the way it is. Hey, Kevin, Iowa. Woo! How's the weather out in Iowa, Kevin? I'm getting ready to head out that direction in a few weeks myself. I'm gonna go to South Dakota if I can. I'm gonna try to get up there and see Mount Rushmore before they replace the ones that are on it. So that's what I tell everybody. 70 degrees. Whew. Well, it's hot down here in the South. It was in the 90s yesterday, and humidity, you could cut it with a knife. And it's warm again this morning. I'm here in my shop, and it's already pretty warm in here, and that sort of stuff. Hey, Jerry, how are you? Glad to see you jump in here. You're headed to Indiana. Which part of Indiana are you headed to, Kevin? Yeah, I'm looking. Yeah, probably. Let me open the garage door. I'm gonna go over here and open it. I'll get a little air underneath there. Probably let me open the other one up. Get a little cross circulation. And I don't get them up too high. They put too much light. Oh man. Well, y'all can see that I actually can move. Oh man. Hey, Joy. You've been watching what? You forgot me watching other videos. No good there. Yeah, here's the problem. I get too much light. Now I'm going to have to turn my camera a little bit differently because there's too much light comes in through it underneath that door. So let me reposition myself now. I'm going to turn around this way. That way I can see everything, because before, when I have these doors open, that sunlight, way my shop is positioned, I get too much sunlight coming in. But that is cooler. That is cooler by doing that. I was getting a little bit stuffy in here. Let me rearrange my camera there a little bit, guys, if y'all don't mind. Yeah, hey Joey, how you like this hat? It's another one of Mike's Dirt Boss's hats. That's the other hat that he gave me. He gave me 2 hats. Ooh, that breeze feels good now. I'm getting a little cross ventilation in here. Yeah. Yeah. Well, how y'all like my new glasses I got? I got some new glasses this past week. I can see better. I got great news. As I told in last week's video, my vision has actually improved to 20/20 with my glasses in both eyes. And I think that's fantastic considering the diabetic problems I had for about 3 years and the operations I had to have and everything else. Now I'm still in this left eye. I still have not 100%. Don't get that wrong. But I mean, it is so much more improved than what it used to be. Yeah. Yeah. I like them pretty good. They're a little more square. They're not the aviator type glasses that I've been wearing. Yeah. Yeah. It's, time to go back to the truck. I don't know. Hey, I don't know if I'm gonna get back into trucking it. Well, I mean, I can do it. I'm gonna probably go back and get my CDLs. Why? I don't know. I don't think I'll ever get back into. I hope. Yeah, I don't need Joe Biden aviator. Maybe that's the reason I went more square this time. I'm a square guy instead of an aviator guy. I don't need the aviator. I don't want to do anything that makes me look like Joe Biden for sure. So I'm different in that respect, that's for sure. But you know, like I said, I was very impressed with Mike Morgan this morning for him to stick his neck out on the line because of the fact that he has got a channel. I mean, he's dependent on his channel to live. I'm not. And I mean, my channel's small. My channel is enjoyable. I get out here and say what I want to say and without repercussions. I mean, I'll get people that will, snark at me too and say things. Well, you shouldn't do this, and you're just a Trumper, and I'm not. I'm not a Trumper. I like a lot of things what Trump has to say, and I am more right leaning, like Mike Morgan was talking about, than I am left leaning. I like the fact that I want America to get back together. I want America to be able to, come up without being divided. Hey, Jerome, how are you? You're from Greencastle, Pennsylvania. Yeah, we were talking about we were talking about your great senator at Fetterman. Mike Morgan came off talking about. He said that he got some bad hate mail. He has a Sasquatch statue beside his building, and he said there's been more sightings in Pennsylvania of Sasquatch than have John Fetterman. And he was just making a joke, and he said, "Oh, that's a funny joke," and it's a fact because Fetterman is non-existent in that state. They basically voted in a puppet. The man has not got the ability to to do anything, even make normal conversation. And why people are so naive to think that's better than having somebody that thinks. It was very beyond me. I couldn't fathom that, but that happened in Pennsylvania. That's for sure. Well, everybody wants fuel to come down too. And we got to do like Vivek said on the debate, if you watched it. He wants to drill. He wants to frack. He wants to burn coal efficiently. He wants to get nuclear running back the right way. I mean, years ago we let leftists like Jane Fonda and some of the other Hollywood elite jump out there and say, we don't need nuclear. We don't need nuclear. Nuclear is the safest type of power plant to get energy of anything. And now they've gone on, and we haven't built a nuclear power plant. I forget how many years it is, 20 or 30 or 40 years. Fortunately for us here in North Carolina, we have several. And I don't feel threatened because we have nuclear power plants. I think it's great. Good morning, Roadrunner. How are you? You're at the TA getting a wheel seal. On the tractor, I guess on the tractor or the trailer? Oh, man, that'd be tough. I don't know. Do they have a full crew in there at the TA this morning? Yeah. Well, yeah, don't call me anything Biden, that's for sure. Yeah, I see that what Scott said. Yeah, I'm just trying to get back and get back and chat and enjoy life. And I'm glad that okay, you got a day cab on the road. All right, well that sounds good, Scott. I would just I don't miss driving a truck at all. I get out there on the interstate now and I see how crowded it is. Going to New York State a couple weeks ago, my daughter and I took my pickup truck, my F-150, and I was so thankful that I was not in a tractor trailer truck. I mean, just seeing the struggles of what a trucker has to put up with all the traffic it's horrendous. I wouldn't want to. I wouldn't want to have to go through all the regulation and everything that we have to do. My wife and I, we were just talking this time of the year in years past, I would be writing out a check probably for $60,000 at least for 2290s that I had to pay on my trucks. That's a heavy use tax that you pay once a year for each truck. And it would cost me about $60,000 at the size of the fleet that I had. Now, all of you that own your own truck, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And then come February and March, I was writing a bigger check than that for tags. I mean, we had to write it for tags. But yeah, $550 per truck. It's what the tax. I mean, it's just a flat tax. I mean, you have to pay it regardless. And when you got multiple trucks, when you got a lot of trucks, it hurts. It hurts to write out a huge check. Like I said, if you got 50 trucks, that's $25,000. If you got 75 trucks, you're looking $40,000. And that's where I was. I was writing checks for $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 for what felt like nonsense. And it was tough to write that out. And then now with the taxation on fuel and everything you get there, I used to get a rebate off of the differential between states like Virginia and South Carolina. But since those states have raised their taxes, I didn't at the end didn't get much on that. Yeah, yeah. What's theirs is what's mine is theirs. That's for sure. And like I said, the worst thing was a few years ago is when I sold my trucks, and I thought, well, I've got some money in the bank. I mean, I had over $1 million in the bank. I will tell y'all this, but that didn't stay there that long because I had to write a humongous check back to the federal government. And, to see that dwindle down, it was pathetic. Now I've got other monies coming in and stuff like that. So, I mean, you don't have to feel sorry for me. I'm doing pretty good. Uh, but to know that I had that at one time and then almost immediately they took a huge portion of it away, a third of it. They got more than a third of it, uh, just like that. And it just makes you sick knowing where it's going to, uh, knowing that it was paying for illegals coming across the border so they could have a shelter, room and board and a cell phone and get benefits. I mean, all kind of different things. So it was pathetically sickening to write those big checks. But what do you do? Like I said, like Jamie said, it's only money, and it is in reality. It's only money, and I easy come, easy go. Well, it's hard to come and easy to go. It's not easy come, easy go because it was not easy getting to the point that I was, but it was real easy to have to write that. I mean, it was easy for them to take my money away. That's for sure. But like I said, uh, I'm glad that I did it. I'm glad I was able to obtain a certain level and have X amount of real dollars in the bank. And of course, we're building back up. And I have bought things, sold some more other things, sold my condo in Hilton Head, made a good profit off of that. Not going to deny that in the least. I tripled my money after 8 years. Um, it was a great investment, but is that a better? Yes, it is, Scott. And I also have got the new blades. I need to do a video on that. They've got some things I like about it, but they got some things I don't. But yeah, that's the 80-volt iDrive right there that I could. I got the mower off of it. I got the mower off of it, but it's a great lawnmower for me for what I need. Now, I have gas powered and diesel powered vehicles too. That is handy around the house because I've got it in the garage. I jump on it and it doesn't have any fumes or anything in the garage. Uh, so, that part's great. I mean, battery technology is great when you can blend it in. Now, to make it the dominant source, I don't want to do that. I think there's too much to be lost if we try to make battery the predominant source. And our infrastructure has already proven that there's not enough infrastructure out there to sustain that. So I'm not all. I mean, I will tell you this. I was one of the people that when the Ford Lightning came out, I jumped right on it and I put my name and sent my $100 in to register for it and everything else. And the more I read about it, the more I saw about the infrastructure and how people are having struggles trying to get things charged. And when they do, it's not charging the way they wanted to. And some of the fires that people have had, I said, no, I think I'll just keep my diesel. And that's what I've done. I've got a diesel 3-liter F-150. I can fill it up and I can drive almost 700 miles without another fill up. 700 miles. And I mean, I think that's fantastic. And you've got to look at convenience and availability over environmental things at that point. And to me, that diesel is very energy efficient, and I don't think it's the carbons and everything coming off it are that bad, and considering what it takes to charge some of these electric cars. A lot of people don't realize in some of these areas that they've got chargers, they got diesel generators running the chargers. So it's sort of a catch-22 situation. Well, I know it, and that's a bad thing, Jamie. I don't. Nothing is free. Nothing is free, and we till we get people to realize that we're going to keep spending. I mean that's the problem. The mentality in the last 3 years. Think about it. Think about all the tax and spend situations that we've been in the past 3 years. I mean, the Democrats are writing checks right and left. They give you pennies and then they want back big dollars. That's the difference. I mean, they're like the carnival guy. He's over there going, yeah, let me you know, shoot this basketball and you get a chance at this $5 stuffed toy. But you're going to spend $25 to get that $5 toy. And that's what so many people don't realize. That's what we're doing in our government right now. We're spending big bucks trying to obtain a goal when the end result is very minute. And that's what we've got. I mean, just think about it. You send millions of dollars to the federal government, then federal government goes, okay, we've got this. We're gonna give billions of dollars to Ukraine. We're gonna give billions of dollars to this cause. We're gonna prop up this industry, and it's gonna fail. But we're gonna do it all for the good of the people. And that's a problem we have right now is the fact that some of these politicians feel like they're doing the good of the people, when in fact they're not doing the good for the people. They're only lining their own pockets. I mean, look at the military-industrial complex. That's got to be the biggest farce, and that's not Republican or Democrat. That's both of them. That's both of them that are getting their pockets lined by the military-industrial complex, Raytheon, all these other Boeing, and all these other big industries that are dependent on us continually having a conflict around the world so they can continually build those big ammunition plants and keep bilking us for everything that you can think of. Yeah, I know. There's probably a lot of people like that, Walter, that are still in electricity somewhere, and then charging her EV so she can be energy efficient. Well, you can just label her government because that's what the government's doing. That's what the government's doing. The government's stealing from us, the common person, to go out and charge other people's cars and do other things that we don't want them to do. But we've got to we're going to have to be smart at the polls the next couple of years and work and campaign and get people. I mean, I'm working right now for a good friend of mine on the local level for city council. He and I are good friends. We always have been, and he's because he stood up and for the right cause in our local town. Some of them didn't like him for that, so they ran an opposing person against him and trying to get him ousted when he's actually done more for the city than anybody. But that's the way it works. So I'm campaigning to keep him in. You'll see I've got a banner for my 55 over here that's got reelect him. I'm gonna put that on there. It says reelect Malcolm Parker. That's the gentleman's name. He's a good friend of mine, and he works hard. Well, that blows my mind there, and that goes to show you the depths of a real corrupt nation like Russia. I mean, they're a dictatorship. He doesn't care. He doesn't he doesn't worry about being caught for anything. And we've almost got our nation into that mindset. I mean, look how much the Bidens have done, and the average person cannot see that they have ripped off the American public. They're saying, "Oh, that's his son." No, that's not his son. That's his son under the direction of the father, because the son didn't have the planes to fly all over the world. The son didn't have the connection to talk to these world leaders and these big businesses and everything. That was a direct relation between Joe Biden and his son. And for any fool, and I say fool, that cannot put two and two together, that they need to they need to go back and lose whatever credential they have, because it only takes a fool. And this is what infuriates me, is that Hunter Biden connection. I mean, he is a crook. His dad's a crook, and we have elected a crook and can't see that. And that is so bizarre. And I know I'm getting, I mean, and I'm not saying that because a right left. I'm just saying that as an American citizen. Why did we elect a huge crook like that? A verifiable crook. How did he make millions and millions of dollars by only being a senator? A senator's pay is not that much. A senator's pay, if you base his salary, he could not afford what he has amassed right now. And everybody is kind of washing that. Oh, well, he did this. And he's been in politics for 50 years. He's been a congressman, a senator, and now vice president and president for 50 years. And you think that he's not gotten rich off of the American public? Anybody that doesn't believe that's a fool. I mean, a total fool. Oh yeah, exactly. From other countries is what they're doing. I mean, when he was on TV, the one thing that I could never understand how people didn't see it, when he professed in front of a TV audience. I mean, had reporters, and he said, "Oh yeah," I said, "I told him that if you don't fire that prosecutor, you won't get that $1 billion." He said, "Well, son of a gun, what happened?" 24 hours later, they fired that prosecutor. Well, yeah, when you're telling a country we're going to hold back $1 billion, and he has those purse strings to tie, well, yeah, they're going to fire whoever if they're a corrupt nation, and they were. And now we're supporting that nation. We're supporting Ukraine. I mean, I hate it for the people that live over there. And, you know, people have to realize and know your history. That was part of Russia a few years ago. Russia is trying to get it back. I mean, you know, it's not, it's sort of like if we had let Florida leave the United States, and we're trying to get Florida back. I mean, that's what it amounts to, and people don't realize that. I mean, there's a lot of dissidents in Ukraine that would like to be part of Russia again, and so it's not 100% consensus. Now, I feel sorry for those people, and I don't think that you know, people keep saying it's Russian aggression. It's actually NATO aggression more so than it is Russian aggression. I mean, NATO has moved way further to the right in proximity than Russia has moved over to the left, coming back toward Europe. So, you know, we got to get everything in perspective there. I mean, I don't want to see Russia win. I'd like to see Ukraine independent, but they're not independent. They have their own dictator too. Yeah. Well, yeah, right. I don't think Russia's going to get Alaska, but you know, I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about our sovereign soil. Well, I say that, but then this is where I like Vivek we're talking about Vivek wants to get the troops. And now some of the other people are kind of rallying behind what he was saying. They even had, I think, about 15 or 20 Republican governors down there with Greg Abbott the other day talking about they're sending National Guard troops from each state down to the border to help control the border because the federal government won't touch anything. Joe Biden could care less what happens to the people in the U.S. And he just lets it compound and compound and compound, thinking that he's doing the right thing. But, you know, what do you say? What do you say, guys? Oh, me. Well, I about talked myself to death again. Everybody go out there and watch old Mike Morgan's show. I like Mike Morgan, Outdoors with the Morgans. He gets on some of this same rant and talking about his things. And he, like I said, he's got a big channel and he has a lot more to risk than I do with a small channel. And I don't live off my channel. My channel brings me pennies. I get a little bit of money from YouTube, but I buy more in Sprite and Gatorade than they give me. I hope so. I hope I have a good week this coming week and get a lot of things done. Y'all guys take care. And Mike Morgan, Jerry, is what I'm talking. Mike Morgan, Outdoors with the Morgans, his channel. You got to check it out. And but check it out, and I'll see y'all next week, and I'll hopefully everybody will be here and feeling good. I'm feeling pretty good. The change of weather and everything is greatly awaited. I can tell you that. I'd like to see a little cool front come in, but hopefully that'll be here before long. So I'll see you guys.